Hi everybody, I'm Skip Alzheimer. Welcome to the AV Geeks Lunchtime Streaming Show, where we watch old 16mm films and the clock sneaks up on me. I did not realize what time it was until my assistant Miles mentioned to me that it was 1 o'clock, and I was like, oops. So, yeah. We watched, like I said, old 16mm films, and this is a great film about discovering color. And of course it's faded, so the colors are mostly reddish in tint. Enjoy.
It is all around us. The more we learn about color, the more color we can see. Colors are very different from each other, and they differ in three major ways. First, we have names for these hues. Green, yellow, red. Second, colors may differ in their value. They may be dark or light. And third, colors may differ in their intensity. They may be dull or bright. When we shine light through a specially cut piece of glass, we see the basic hues. This is called a spectrum. We give names to parts of the spectrum. The names are hues. Red, orange, yellow, green, blue, and violet. When these basic hues are arranged in a circle, we can remember them more easily. Three of the hues are called warm hues: red, orange, and yellow, because they may remind us of warm things. And three of the hues are called cool hues: green, blue, and violet, because they may remind us of cool things. Three of the basic hues, red, yellow, and blue, are called primary hues. From the three primary hues, we can mix the remaining basic hues. Red and yellow give us orange. Yellow and blue give us green. Blue and red give us violet. So the basic hues are divided into the primary hues, red, yellow, and blue, and the secondary hues, orange, green, and violet. We can easily find examples of our 6 basic hues. In addition to the basic hues, there are many in-between hues. For example, between orange and yellow, there is yellow-orange. Orangey yellow-orange. And yellowish yellow-orange. Between violet and red, there is red-violet, violet-red-violet, and reddish red-violet. In addition to hue, there is a second way in which colors may differ. A hue may be lightened or darkened. This is called changing its value. Let's take one hue, red for example, and see how we can change its value. We add white to lighten the value of the red. A little white gives us this. And more white gives us a very light value of red. There are many hues of light value everywhere. Now, let's darken the value of our red by adding black. A little black mixed with the red gives us this. And more black gives us a very dark value of red. There are many hues of dark value in nature, and nature often changes value gradually. Any hue can be lightened or darkened in value by adding black or white. In addition to hue and value, there is a third way in which colors may differ. A hue may vary between bright and dull. We dull or lower the intensity of a hue by adding a little of the hue that is straight across from it. Opposite hues are sometimes called complementary hues. So the complement of is blue. Let's start with bright orange. Now, let's add some blue. This softens or dulls the orange a little. As we add more blue, the orange becomes duller. Its intensity lessens. A very dull orange is sometimes called brown. Other browns can be mixed by dulling other warm hues. In nature, there are many dull hues, hues of low intensity. There are also many bright hues, hues of high intensity. So colors differ in three major ways: hue, value, and intensity. A great variety of hues can be created. As the primary hue, yellow, mixes with a secondary hue, green, many in-between hues are created. The value of any hue can be lightened or darkened by adding white or black. To dull or lower the intensity of a hue, its complementary hue is added. All around us, there are many hues. Many different values. And many different intensities. Color is everywhere. The more we know about color, the more color we can see, create, and appreciate.
That was a weird squeak at the end. Probably lost tension, so it was like... Anyways, yeah, that was a great film. I think, was that made by BFA? Bailey Film Associates. And there's another one about texture, which I don't know if have we shown that one. It's very similar, very playful. No, we haven't shown that, so maybe we'll show that this week. A lot of our films, most of our films, are now off-site and not in the back, thanks to my assistant, mostly Miles, who has been doing a lot of work moving stuff off-site. So I can't just go to the back and pull films. I have to be more deliberate about it, and have to think about how this is going to work moving forward, as far as like maybe I'll go to the storage units and pull a bunch of films and then go through those. I don't know. It's not going to be as just easy of like, oh, I'll just run to the back. But anyways, Matthew L. has sent us a box of films from his collection that he was just like, I don't need these anymore. And so thankfully he reached out to me. We watched 2 yesterday. We watched one, Pioneer of Progress, which was about the steel industry. And then we watched another one called The Great Skateboard Race, which was a Roger Ramjet cartoon. So behind me, I have on the film scanner, I think that it's written on the outside, Building a Skyscraper, but I'm not 100% sure of the title. So let's watch it and see. Enjoy.
New buildings replace old ones, and tall buildings replace small ones. A very tall building is a skyscraper. It can be 50 or even 100 stories high. It can weigh thousands of tons. Hundreds of people live or work in skyscrapers. It takes hundreds of people to build one. Each person has a different skill or profession. None could build the skyscrapers without the others. Building a skyscraper costs millions of dollars. The landowner may borrow money from a bank. Then an architect designs the building. The surveyor studies the site. The engineers plan the foundation. People who help build the skyscraper do many different kinds of jobs. Some are quite dangerous. Others require special skills. Most are proud of their work. Some of these jobs you may recognize. Others you never knew. Heavy equipment operators. Steel workers. construction superintendents, welders, carpenters, cement workers, pipe fitters, plumbers, fireproofing experts, air conditioning experts, finishing, or skin plating. Glass workers. Elevator workers. Electricians. People in skyscrapers need many things. They need electricity, water, heating, ventilation, elevators, and other things. Building skyscrapers takes years, millions of dollars, and expert teamwork. Someday, you may help build a skyscraper. Can you name some of the jobs you would like to do?
Awesome. That was pretty great. So I did some research. Even though there wasn't a copyright notice in the film, it was released in 1973, and it was captioned, open captioned, for people, kids who were hearing impaired. We run across many of these. Cornet had a bunch where they added English subtitles or even ones in other languages as a way to create films for multiple audiences. So there you go. All right, this film is about a composer, American composer, and I am hoping, I scanned through it, I'm hoping there's no blackface in this. I don't know. It's of that time, and I have another film in this series where there's blackface at the end, and it was like, oh boy. That's what a great way to intro a film. Is our next film is about a composer, and I hope there's no blackface in it. Here it is. Come Where My Love Lies Dreaming. Enjoy.
Dreaming.
fleeting joys of day, dreaming the happy hours, dreaming the happy hours away. Come where my love lie on, love is sweetly dreaming the happy hours away.
100 odd years, 100 years ago, a living man walked the earth, saw the sunset glow, loved, and in turn was loved, felt and heard music stirring in his soul, coming from whence all music comes. I was that man. Whatever the truth and beauty and gentle understanding may be found in the songs I wrote, I take no credit. For this knowledge of life was imparted to me from the heart and the lips of the one in all the world I had loved best. If in the heart of her youngest son, Eliza Clayton Foster, occupied a greater niche than most men reserve for their marital parent, it was only because no man ever had a finer mother. Surely she must be quietly waiting somewhere, peacefully dreaming the hours away, until that time when she again will be circled by the smiling faces of her beloved and joined in the laughter of her children. It was my mother who gave me what early musical training I received. From the very beginning, melodies coming from I knew not where filled my head, and as soon as I had learned the rudiments of music, I set them down on paper.
That's beautiful, Stephen. Better get back to your schoolwork now, dear, until supper's ready.
Mama! Mama! Daddy just smashed his finger with a hammer!
Oh, calm yourself, Henrietta. Wait.
Stephen, is your schoolwork done? I forbid you to play the piano for 6 months. You've got to understand your studies come first. Now go to bed.
Why, William, I didn't know you were home. Where's Stephen? Supper's ready.
I've sent him to bed without supper. Eliza, we got to have a talk about that boy. He's too much interested in music for his own good.
Aren't you in bed yet?
No, because I was brooding over the injustice of my father's attitude.
Stephen, try to understand. Father wishes to act only for your best interest. You see, dear, you will be making your own way in the world one day soon, and you must be prepared for it. Oh, I know your love for music, but it's figuring and logic and such studies that you'll be needing to make your living by. Oh, it does seem difficult when all our desires pull us in another direction. But, Stephen, if we have faith And if we are humble, in time we'll see the plan our Heavenly Father has surely laid out for us. Stephen, your father has tempered your punishment. You may practice your music. But only after 8 o'clock in the evening, providing your lessons are done. That's very beautiful, darling. And I know you'll write many, many more of them.
And so, through the understanding of my mother, my music continued. By the time I was 18, I was completely absorbed in music, to the growing concern of my father.
Oh, I come from Alabama with my banjo on my knee. I took one to Louisiana there, my true love for to see. It rained all night the day I left, the weather it was dry. The sun so hot I froze to death, Susanna, don't you cry. Oh, Susanna, don't you cry for me. I come from Alabama with my banjo on my knee. Oh, Susanna, don't you cry for me. I come from Alabama with my banjo on my knee.
I respect your judgment, William. But there's one small request I'd like to make. Don't forbid him his music completely. It gives him such happiness.
Oh, nice.
Men live not by bread alone. Can't you see? Stephen's gift is God-given.
It rained all night the day I left, the weather it was
That's his new composition.
the sun so
The
hot.
lad does seem to have a strange talent for music. Oh, all right, Eliza. I won't forbid it altogether.
Mother was the guiding light, the inspiration for every member of the family. She was just and impartial, giving her love equally, and we in turn responded with the full measure of love for her.
And in case of accident, while serving in the war with Mexico, I wish all of my resources converted into cash to be invested for our dear mother as long as she lives.
Mother was proud of my success as a songwriter.
Stephen, play Old Folks at Home for me.
And her greatest delight was in family gatherings, singing the melodies I had written.
Way down upon the Swanee River, far, far away, there's where my heart is turning ever, there's where the old folks stay. All up and down the whole creation, sadly I roam, still longing for the old plantation and for the old
And so it was to her memory that I dedicated the most melodic composition of my career.
Come where my love lies dreaming, dreaming the happy hours away, in visions bright redeeming the fleeting joys of day, dreaming the happy hours, dreaming the happy hours away. Come where my love, my own love is sweetly dreaming the happy hours away. Come with the lute, come with the lay, my own love is sweetly dreaming, her beauty beaming. Come where my love lies, love is sweetly dreaming, the happy hours away. Soft is her slumber, thoughts bright and free dance through her dreams like gushing melody. Light is her young heart, light may it be. Come where my love lies dreaming, dreaming my love, happy hours, dreaming the happy hours away. Come where my love, my own love is sweetly dreaming the happy hours away. Dreaming the happy hours away.
Thank you, Steve. Thank you.
What happened? How did it end? So that was just a showcase for the Kingsmen to sing. And at some point that was popular. People like that. Popular music, of course. That was popular music when it was first made, but then there's kind of revisiting this type of style of music in the 40s. Yeah. Anyways, what time is it? All right. We've got this wonderful film. We learned about color. Now let's learn about Oriental brushwork. The term Oriental, of course, is outdated and kind of lazy because the Orient is Asia, like all these islands, all these different countries, all of them are different. So is this Chinese brushwork? Who knows? Anyways, enjoy.
We are at the Freer Gallery in Washington, studying Oriental Brushwork. This 9-foot watercolor, or scroll, is called Plum Branch. The Chinese and Japanese not only write, but paint, from right to left. To enjoy fully work by Oriental artists would need a knowledge of their traditions. We must be content, however, with an appreciation of the quality of their brushwork. We also need a sense of the timelessness of nature, of trees and mountains, and of man's love for them. The whole last part of this branch was done with one continuous tapering stroke. The Chinese have been trained from one generation to another to make the brush respond to what the artist feels. In this grapevine in the wind, we know that the artist thought wind, and his hand and arm responded kinesthetically. For centuries, most Oriental painting, and indeed writing too, has been with watercolor on silk or on long fiber paper made of rice or mulberry. The brushwork sometimes takes the form of calligraphy or picture-like strokes and is full of symbolism. This is River Landscape, painted on a long silk scroll in 1580 by Dai Chin. While it is too late for us to watch him or any other great master from the Ming dynasty at work, many living artists still paint in the same tradition. Given similar brushes, colors, skills, and emotions, years or centuries are easily bridged. This is Tyrus Wong, Chinese-American painter, at work in his Los Angeles studio. Here are his brushes, palette, and Chinese ink. He drags the wet brush across the edge of the palette as Dai Jin did centuries ago. And now he writes the early character for tree or wood. If you wish to say grove, add another tree, and for forest, a third. The word for up is amusing when contrasted with the one for down. Here's the ancient character for the word horse. The mane, head, back, legs, and tail. The word has now been simplified to this. Mr. Wong is thinning the ink in preparation for the painting of a horse. He uses rice paper or ordinary American watercolor paper. The strength and purity of the lines that you are now seeing painted comes first from a profound contemplation of the import of each one. This brushwork is simple and significant. Not only does the artist eliminate everything not essential to movement, but he uses every device to convey action. While the heavy lines express power, the lighter ones suggest resilience. You even find yourself sharing the exuberant vitality of the animal. The signature is as beautiful as the rest, and the seal lends final authenticity to most Oriental work. Let us pursue the path of the eye as it follows the artist's brush in The Blind Man, a story written in paint. The line emphasizes the bent back, the worn shoes, the road traveled. The cane is a symbol of lost way, and the cup begs for alms. Now that Mr. Wong has shown us something of his way of working, let me take you back 500 years before his time and show you a landscape done with similar restraint and purity. Centuries before Cézanne, this unknown artist created tension and depth by the use of planes and multiple horizons. He wasn't afraid to move his vanishing points about or to ignore them entirely. A modernist point of view from out of the past. Reproductions of this picture, by the way, are in most of the world's great museums. If this were music instead of painting, these quiet horizontals and smooth flowing lines might be the adagio movement, gradually preparing us for the final maestoso. The full orchestra would be needed to bring out the menace of these pinnacles and the drama of this towering escarpment. We now leave Chinese brushwork, its old history and its symbolism and expressiveness, and pass on to Japanese painting, more recent but equally sensitive. The art of watercolor in China was the ancestor to that in Japan, so that it seems natural to find Gaho, the Japanese of the Kano school, painting these Chinese Taoist immortals with so much empathy. Another good example of this understanding is found in A Winter Party, painted by Utagawa Toyoharu in the 18th century. Whether it be a landscape or a portrait, the Oriental artist usually observes his subject for a long time before presuming to talk about it. He sometimes even identifies himself with it. A rich man once commissioned a painter to make a picture of a duck. After several months with no delivery, the artist excused the delay by saying, "But, sir, I do not yet feel like a duck." We share with the tea drinkers their delight in the view of snow-covered trees and gardens. And now, in another garden in this country, we shall actually watch Chiura Obata of the University of California painting a cypress tree. Though he sometimes uses rice paper or silk, he is now working on Hoshio paper from Japan. He is painting, as did his forebears, with sumi or black stick pigment, and often with the same kind of brush. The strokes must be significant and express the artist's deep appreciation of nature. Although the Japanese traditional painter sometimes uses color, his greatest delight is in the movement of the brush, ampitsu, as he calls it. Here it speaks eloquently of the spiral strength of the bark or describes the foreground. As the blending brush flicks over the paper, trees appear in the distance, and then a bird in flight with 2 strokes. Who could have done that but an artist trained from boyhood to use a brush for writing as well as for painting? While painting, Obata tells me he is thinking the beauty of struggle of cypress trees at Point Lobos. They face the day and night sea wind. Before touching brush to paper, Obata takes a deep breath and holds it while stroking. He doesn't use the wrist, but the whole body swings with the arm. This brush is known as a 5-stroke hake. That stroke, surprisingly called wrinkles on a cow's neck, is a symbol for rocks, in this case granite cut by glaciers in the Yosemite. He now substitutes the blending brush for the hake. While I could describe the great variety of techniques you will now see, I prefer to let the brush talk. A Chinese proverb says, "To hear about a thing 100 times is not so good as to see it once." Coming from a race of great fishermen, Mr. Obata now turns his thoughts to a leaping trout. Instead of drawing the fish, he places dots to locate it on the paper. These colors are minerals ground in glue: yellow earth, peacock stone, iron rust, or oyster shell white. Color and a little sumi for the back and spots, but the mark on the paper that seems to start with brown turns magically to an iridescent green. A warmer color for the belly of the fish. Malachite green and indigo blue on the hake brush make the water splash as the trout jumps. A different feeling entirely from that of the falling water, of the rocks, or of the trees. These are the water wheel falls near Yosemite. I, for one, get less pleasure out of looking at a photograph or even the actual scene than I do from a fine painting of a subject, such as Obata's thundering Nevada Falls, painted on silk. The Oriental artist seeks not a copy of something, but an emotional release. But whatever the subject may be, or whenever the artist knelt to paint, from the Sung dynasty to the present, the world of art owes a special debt to the Oriental for his high level of taste and the distinction of his brushwork.
Thanks, Elliot. We have quite a few films that he narrates, different types of techniques, mostly related to painting or drawing. And I don't know, maybe a Bob Ross, if he was a little bit closer to the microphone, it was kind of a little bit more breathy like this, it would be more like a Bob Ross, but meditative nonetheless. Hey, thanks for tuning in today. We appreciate your eyeballs, and boy, we were going all over the place. And that's kind of the type of show I enjoy, is like, we're going to watch this film, and we're going to watch this other film, and then we're going to watch this film. Anyways, if you like what you saw, hit the thumbs up. If you like the concept of what we're doing here, of watching old 16mm films, you can also hit the thumbs up and the like and the subscribe. You can also donate via the YouTube Super Thanks button or via ko-fi.com/avgeeks or patreon.com/avgeeks. Those are great ways to support us financially. And that money goes to get coffee, but really what it's going to do is pay for storage units. We have 7 now. 7 storage units, and hopefully I don't need to get any more. We'll be able to clear out all the film and equipment out of the back of the archive and start doing renovation work so that we can accommodate more films. Because I guess that's what I do, is I collect more films and show them to you. And that's really, you're the second most important part of this, is I collect films, 1, show films, 2, somewhere profit, I don't know, it's just money. But reading your comments and delighting in what you write and say, that's why we do what we do. Is if I collected these films and showed them and nobody cared, it would be harder for me. But the fact that you guys tune in is what makes this worthwhile. So thank you so much. Also, if you're in the Raleigh, North Carolina area and you want to see a train wreck of a feature film, tomorrow I'm going to be introducing Howard the Duck for Weird Wednesday at the Alamo Draft House. And so that's a 10 o'clock screening. It is not a good film. It is mostly inappropriate for the audience they were seeking to show the film to, and it ruined some careers and created some new ones, but mostly ruined careers. So, Howard the Duck. All right. Everybody have a great rest of your day, and if I don't see you, I will see you tomorrow. Everybody take care.